breaking, but I am here to break them. I am here to break them.
Good afternoon. As you may already have gathered from the video, we are about to do about as big a U-turn as it is possible to make in tone and subject from that excellent first conversation. We are here to talk about Iran, the country, its people, its women, its girls, its future. Masih, Arash, welcome.
Thank you.
My name is Louise Kelly. I'm a journalist at NPR. I have reported on Iran for many years now, from outside the country when we must, and from inside when we can. I was there last year reporting. Tried to go back this year, was denied a visa. We will keep trying because it matters to go and witness firsthand and bear witness to the events happening there. And I think that's where I would like to start, Masih Alinejad, with you. Paint us a picture of what life looks like today for women in Iran.
First of all, I have to say that it's very difficult after Bilmar laughing, talking about the miserable situation in the Middle East, in Iran, my beloved homeland. And I want to actually use the opportunity to say that honestly, we have to appreciate what we have in America. Sitting here, Republican, Democrat, talking together, having an election, which is a dream for us to have a fair and free election, and having someone to make fun of everyone. This is a crime in my country. And recently, Hossein Shambezadeh, just, now he is like in prison for the crime of using satire, mocking the supreme leader of Iran, and he is in prison. So it's difficult, but I do my best. Please don't give up on me. Yeah. So the situation in Iran, as you all saw after the brutal murder of Mahsa Amini, has changed. People were in the street, women were burning headscarf, compulsory veiling. They were hopeful, saying death to Khamenei. They were really hopeful to bring the Islamic Republic down. But what happened? The regime killed more than 700 innocent people. They actually raped women in prison. Teenager got killed. More than 20,000 people got arrested. So for that, the level of the brutality was very high. So you don't see anything in the street. But I have to say that all I see when I talk to the people inside Iran, especially women, is anger. So I still believe that the flame of the revolution, woman, life, freedom, revolution, is still burning. Because the loudest voice that you hear right now among Iranians calling for a boycott for election or still challenging the Islamic Republic are coming from women, especially women in prison, like the Nobel Peace Prize winner Narges Mohammadi, like Sadiqa Vasmari, like Fatemeh Sepehri. They are like coming from different political background, but all of them within prison, like 61 women, they went on hunger strike and they had one message: say no to Islamic Republic. So for that, I have to say that yes, the women of Iran, they are wounded, but they are unbowed to their oppressors.
May I ask you to make a bicep?
Oh yes. Yeah,
tell us what this is.
This is the slogan: woman, life, freedom. Guys, it's so sad. Just chanting women, life, freedom in Iran can get you killed. I didn't like having tattoos, but for me now, this is very, very like symbolic and unique to actually remind those teenagers who got killed. But at the same time, believe me, woman, life, freedom, that scares the mullahs. That really fucking scares them, and I love that. Yes.
One more, and then I want to get you in here, Arash. But you have not been able to go to Iran since 2009. Is that correct?
I am in Iran. My body is here, but I live there. My soul is there. Every single day, I follow the news in Iran. I go to bed with the news of Iran. I live and breathe with the news of Iran. They kicked me out from Iran They couldn't manage to take Iran out of me. I'm there.
How do you know what is happening there and trust it? Like the women whose voices you are sharing on your massive social media followings on social platforms, how do they get their message to you at great risk?
Good question. Look, social media. My camera is like my weapon. It is. Social media became a tool in the hand of Iranians to actually break the censorship, to create their own platform, their own media. But all they need to have, like, media outside to echo their voices. What I do, I talk to them every day, and I create different initiatives. I remember that 10 years ago when I created a campaign called My Stealthy Freedom, women were sending me videos of themselves taking their hijab, walking unveiled, which is a punishable crime. And I published it on my social media, my Instagram page, my Twitter page, my Facebook page. Then Tina Brown, she invited me to on a stage, and I actually had a big platform to show all women. People were surprised that, wow, this is the picture of Iranian women walking unveiled. So I use my social media to echo their voices, and that's why the Iranian regime created a new law, criminalizing sending videos to Masih Alinejad. Can you believe that? Please send me videos. So you go to prison, up to 10 years. It's not funny. The head of the Revolutionary Guard came on TV and said that if anyone sent videos to Masih Alinejad, will be charged up to 10 years prison. And the same day, Iranian mothers whose beloved one got killed during uprising, they went to the same street that their children got killed, holding the pictures of their beloved one and saying, "Hi, Masih, this is the street that our beloved one got killed. And we're sending you the video to be our voice." And I got goosebumps because that was like an act of civil disobedience. So that's why it's not just me. You as well. You can use your social media to be the voice of Iranian people because they risk their lives. They know that freedom is not free, but they are like Rosa Parks of Iran. They're like women of suffrages in Iran. So they send videos outside Iran because they want to be heard. And believe me, I have like 10 million followers. I'm not an actress. I'm not a model. But I have more followers than all the Ayatollahs combined together.
To give people a sense of how difficult this is and the risks that people are taking, I know in my reporting trips to Iran recently, since the protests began in 2022, they have slowed the internet. They have blocked your ability, even behind a VPN, to, I have tried to get video out of Iran while in Iran. It is not easy at all. Speak to protesters who have been blinded, for example, in taking the risk to go out and demonstrate or to uncover their hair.
Before coming here, I had a picture of one of them who got blinded. And I take the picture everywhere with me because I believe that everyone should see the picture. Maybe next time, Tina, you invite her as well here. Because to be honest, she's like my daughter. She's only 22 years old, Kausar. Oh, you have the picture here.
Yeah, we have
Thank
some
you.
up.
Yes.
Some up.
So you see, they all got blinded for the crime of just protesting peacefully, demanding freedom, saying woman, life, freedom. That's all. So the regime actually blinded them to create fear. But Kausar, when I go through my Instagram page, I saw her message that for 6 months, she kept sending message to me that, Masih, I got blinded. Masih, I need you. I need you to be my voice. So because I get bombarded by messages, I didn't see her. But then after 6 months, she said that, so I'm feeling better. I'm going back to the demonstration now. I'm taking back to the street. So this is the video. And I was shocked that she was like bombarding me by videos, even with one eye. And she told me that I lost my eyes. The Iranian regime managed to take my eye away from me, but not our hope. So these are the women and men together, and they have a very simple demand. They say that in Iran, it's a crime for us to take to the streets. We get blinded, we might get killed, but outside Iran, it's easy for all of us, especially for the leaders of democratic countries, to actually recognize the people of Iran rather than negotiating with the killers. So for that, I'm very pleased that you show their pictures. They're having their own social media right now. So when you want to learn about Iran, please go and follow their page. They are the true leaders within the country, and they are the future of my beloved homeland. A country where we want to invite you all to be there, and we're not going to force you all to cover yourself, for sure.
Arash, I want you to jump in, and I want you to respond to, we have one more video that I want to see if we can put up. This is capturing encounters with the so-called morality police in Iran.
تو غلط می‌کنی خود نکن
Arash, describe what we just saw. How common is it? And I guess speak to the question of, has anything changed? I mean, we did see the biggest protests in modern history in Iran in 2022. Have Iran's leaders made any concessions in response?
The short answer is they haven't. There are many Muslim countries in the world. There's only one, and now with the addition of the Taliban, the unrecognized Taliban regime in Afghanistan, when every single woman is forced to cover their hair, and when they don't, things like that happen to them. And you ask me how common it is. It's entirely common. I mean, I left Iran around the same year, 2008, but before that, our sisters, cousins, mothers, girlfriends, everybody has seen that happen to the woman in their life, and it happens all the time. And it's not accidental. Not only the Iranian, it's actually quite interesting. Not only have the rulers of Iran not conceded on this, they've actually gone harder. They tried to pass a law that would make the enforcement of the mandatory hijab harder. And you would ask why. And the answer is that the Islamic Republic that came to power in 1979 has a couple of foundations. And it understands that if one of these foundations is gone, the whole thing will be threatened. One of that is this extraordinary act of forcing half the society to tolerate a number of misogynist laws, number of anti-woman laws, the most obvious of which is the one according to which they all have to cover their hair. Now, there have been important changes, not in the laws, not in the attitudes of the leaders, but on the streets. If we pick up our phones, any of us, Masih or now, and FaceTime someone in Tehran, there might be a street in Tehran in which there are many women who are not covering their hair, but they do so taking this risk that this could happen to them. There are guards standing in Tehran metro doing that. And I was talking to a friend of mine. She's a young student in Iran, and she had been arrested after this happened to her. And she came out, and she was out, and I was just talking to her, and she was walking the streets of Tehran a couple of days ago, and she didn't have her hair covered. And I said, well, you were just arrested for this. I'm so worried for you personally as your friend. And she said, the indignity of having to give in to this is something that I wouldn't. So I think Masih would agree, and for a lot of us Iranians, and especially Iranian men, I am always in awe of the courage of the men and women of my country, and especially women who continue to do this daily act of resistance and defiance.
Some of the stories that my team was told last year, we were out speaking to women who were fully covered and speaking to women who were not, which I had not seen on previous reporting trips. But describing the act of driving if your scarf goes down too far, and cameras capturing your license plate, and you will get a summons to the police station, and it will not end happily for you.
I have a friend whose
in
car
your
is
own car on the street.
And they can compound your car. They can keep your car for like a couple of weeks if you do that.
Or freeze your bank account, or suddenly your passport doesn't work, or et cetera. We're not the only country here in the US with presidential elections. Iran has them this week, this Friday. Will anything change?
Look, nothing immediately will change. And this is, of course, this is not a free and fair election, although it is a competitive election, because the elite of the regime are not united. They have a lot of disagreements amongst each other. And it's interesting, even in the narrowest confines, they have a lot of disagreements with each other, and they fight each other. So no, nothing immediately will change. And I'm not going to bore you here with the names of the candidates and stuff. I've written about it in the Atlantic, if anyone's interested in reading. But I will say this. The leadership of the regime, as I said, they have their differences. Ayatollah Khamenei is 85 years old, so if you ever thought, your president is too old, think of Khamenei. He's been in power since George Bush was president, George Bush the father. I was 1 year old when he came into power, and all my life, all the decisions, he makes all the decisions. That's one of the most important things, by the way. The president who was elected this week is not the one making the decisions, since Khamenei is the supreme leader. But we have to, I'll say a couple of things. It's important to monitor the differences in the elite, because many of them understand that these policies are untenable, and there is a chance that they might have to drop some of these policies in the future. Unfortunately, this does not mean democratization. It doesn't mean that they'll give up on some of these core policies, but they might soften the other policies. But the other point that is important is that, unfortunately, people who, Masih and I talk about, and people who advocate the fantastic labor activists, feminist workers who are in prisons of Iran, not only they don't have a candidate in these elections, they don't have a political voice. And they do not have a political organization. And here is something that does matter to me, that I do want to say, is that, you cannot change the world via social media. You cannot do it via hashtags. You cannot do it via sympathetic coverage in the Western press. We got as sympathetic coverage as the Western press as we could possibly have in 2022 and 23. But we did not have political organization. We did not have political leadership. So if there's something that I'd like to tell audiences that can learn from Iran everywhere, is that it's very nice to believe you can change things horizontally without leaders. You don't need ideologies anymore. All you need is a hashtag and stuff. I don't believe that. And I think all the history of the last 10, 15 years, and every single country has shown it. If you want to change things, you need to get your political act together, and you need to do the hard work of negotiating, of people agreeing with each other, unfortunately, we haven't done that, and we have to be honest. The heroic women and men of Iran who are getting blinded or killing, who's the spirit we believe in, they didn't start doing this yesterday. They've done it at least for the 30, 40 years, and unfortunately, we've not been able to get rid of the regime. It's only gotten worse because we've not been able to build a political alternative.
Masih, how about you?
I strongly believe that when Iranian regime sees that they can easily rape teenagers in prison, they can blind women, they can torture protesters to death in prison, they can execute young men for the crime of joining their sisters in the street, and they can get away from that, and they can actually still be recognized by Western leaders, then there is no reason for them to stop killing their own people. So for instance, yes, we got support from the Western leaders outside the world. Yes, we got media coverage, but these are empty words. We needed actions that we didn't get. Lack of actions from the leaders of democratic countries.
Like what, though? Like what? I mean, sanctions have not changed
Very
anything.
simple. You're talking about sanction, but American government themselves, they never enforced their own sanction. I myself witnessed the member of Revolutionary Guards coming to America, going to Canada, 700 members of Revolutionary Guards living in Canada, having their luxury lives, mocking us and saying that, yes, you got media coverage from the West. Here we are, we got visa from the US government. So when I say action, yeah, I saw a lot of I saw a lot of leaders, Western leaders, feminists, high representative of the EU, they cut their hair to show their sympathy with the women of Iran. We don't need you to cut your hair. We want you to cut your ties with our killers. That's how you bring change.
Can I just say?
And another action, men has a lot of time to say, but Iranian women need to see action. How many women are here? Hands up, I really want to see. So you want to see action? I want to show you action. How many women? Okay. How many of you, if in your country, If your country, you get kicked out from a school, you get kicked out from university, you get kicked out from a stadium, how many of you want the rest of the world come to your help and kick out your government from FIFA if you're not allowed to go to a stadium? How many of you would ask for banning your country if you get kicked out? Hands up. Okay, that's the good numbers. But anytime when I ask the leaders of democratic countries to kick out Islamic Republic from all international sport federations, journalists in the West, feminists in the West telling me, shh, you're causing Islamophobia because this is your culture, you know? Islamic Republic in Iran, in Afghanistan, kicked out girls from university. Still, the world are trying to negotiate with Islamic Republic and Taliban. And I see the Western feminists wearing hijab in front of Taliban in the Western soil, like wearing hijab. So when you empower our killers, there is no reason for them to kill Iranian women. These are the action that are missing because President Biden hand out billions of dollars to Ayatollah, to Ali Khamenei, to exchange political prisoners. So what is doing? They're gonna actually arrest more dual national citizens. They're gonna arrest more Americans because they know that President Biden gonna give them money. So these actions make Islamic Republic empower them and embolden them to kill first their own people, second, to go after Americans, and third, to expand their own ideology everywhere. If it was 20 years ago, me walking in New York, asking all of you to help me to fight against Al-Qaeda, all of you might have said, like, why should we help you? But what happened? Al-Qaeda killed more than 3,000 innocent people in New York, attacking Twin Towers. No? That's why I believe that if we don't end Islamic Republic, they will get united with Putin, with all the dictators, and they will end democracy.
Arash, you're a man, but we'll let you speak briefly. If you can.
Look, here's why I disagree. Number one, look, Masih, a bunch of wish lists doesn't make for a policy. You can say all these things, raise your hand, who would want that? This doesn't make for a policy. To pretend like the Western leaders somehow magically want the Islamic Republic in power is the worst kind of conspiratorial thinking. That doesn't get us anywhere. No, they don't. But it's not easy. What would they do to the Islamic Republic? Increase the sanctions. On the sanctions, I don't think sanctions have been helpful. I think they've been more than hurtful, actually.
Wow.
I can say what I want. I think sanctions have been hurtful. I think they've destroyed the Iranian middle class. They helped impoverish Iran more. I don't think they did a good job. I also think that whenever you do sanctions, we can look at years of experience.
You know, the minute when you said that, don't worry if Biden is old, Khamenei is old, I was like, wow, I'm in a wrong panel.
Okay,
because
good.
when you compare Khamenei to Biden, Khamenei, an old man killing teenagers.
It was a joke,
every single day. We
It
are
was a
not
joke.
joking.
Well,
we are
I
talking
like to
about
joke sometimes
tragedy.
if I can. Even when we're talking about tragedies, I'd like to make a joke. Khamenei is a murderous killer.
That's what I want.
And Biden is a democratically elected president. I didn't compare them. I would love the day to see Khamenei is overthrown. I also have not been to Iran, but I'm an Iranian. No, I don't want Iran kicked out of FIFA. I don't think these policies are helpful. And I think years of them trying have not worked.
So you get it, because Iranian men...
Maybe you should
Hold on.
Because
One at a time,
one
at a time. Finish your thought, Arash.
100,000 Iranian men go to a stadium, but Iranian women are kicked out from a stadium.
Okay, hang on.
Men are the problem. You get it?
Hold on.
Yes, because these are the men in my country. My women go to a stadium, they get killed, but they still want to enjoy football. This is not football. Football became a tool in the hand of Khamenei to normalize a murderous regime. If you ask any Iranian women, they would say that, kick them out from everywhere until the day that we have the same right to go to a stadium.
I would like to note...
it's not true. You can ask Iranian. You don't represent all Iranian women.
Hold on. How well we have learned the lesson from the first session about the value of discourse with people we disagree with, and how great it is that you two are able to sit up here and argue on this stage in a way that you could not in Iran. So thank you.
Well, if she doesn't cut me off, but yes.
Please finish your thought, and then I have one more question for you.
Look, it's tragic, right? Masih and I obviously agree on so much. We want the regime to go, right? We don't believe anybody in this presidential election represents us, you can read my book where I speak very admiringly of Masih. I think she's one of the most impressive activists of our time. But activists, and social issue activists, unfortunately, cannot overthrow a murderous regime like the Islamic Republic without proper policies. And the policies that Masih have suggested here are not enough. I know the Western governments can't do it.
Because
you
you're
need
not
a political.
us.
Please
Men
let me
are
finish.
not supporting us.
Please let me finish. Please let me finish. It's really important for someone to finish their sentence, okay? We need a political alternative. It's very easy to say, don't negotiate with the Islamic Republic. I mean, tell me, what does that mean? What exactly does that mean, don't negotiate with the Islamic Republic? For example, our region now is in the danger of a terrible war that could escalate. The Islamic Republic, unfortunately, has missiles, right? What does it mean? The United States should stop talking to Iran in all counts? How does that, have you ever engaged in a hostage operation? Have you ever dealt with a mafia guy? Have you ever dealt with someone who controls so much? Well, you have to speak sometimes, right? So, cut them off. What does it mean, don't recognize them? What does it mean? Like kick the Islamic Republic out of the UN and stop recognizing them? What does that exactly mean? And then if you want, the Islamic Republic is a terrible regime, but it controls a country of 85 million, and controls all these borders and controls all these things. You can't just pretend it doesn't exist. That's not a policy.
During Soviet Union, during apartheid in South Africa, people were not be able to bring democracy if it was not West helping them.
Did the West cut ties with the Soviet Union?
It's good you let me finish, no?
But I asked you a question.
You
Did
said
you
let me
stop
finish.
recognizing the
Hold on.
apartheid South Africa or Soviet
Hold
Union?
on.
Please say.
She let you finish your point.
Please.
President Biden was a senator. If you listen to all his speech, he was all about banning South Africa because of apartheid. And I'm asking you all, an Iranian man, if Islamic Republic kicking out women from everywhere is not gender apartheid, then how do you call it?
It is gender apartheid.
If it's gender apartheid,
I agree with you.
if it's gender apartheid, you never agree with me. I'm asking about men here. So all men here, if you are dealing with gender apartheid, honestly, he doesn't like it because he knows that it's a big embarrassment. How many men are here? Hands up. And how many of you? I want to see men here. Hands up. And how many of you now, if your sisters and your women, your mothers are not allowed to go to a stadium, how many of you willing to go to a stadium if your women are not allowed to go to a stadium? How many of you? Hands up. None. But he goes. Iranian man goes. Yes.
So the problem is the entire Iranian
That's why they hate me. Why? You have to let me finish.
Please.
Because Iranian women for 40 years, this is so sad. It makes me cry, actually. For 40 years, I have been actually echoing the voice of millions of Iranians because they are angry. For 40 years, we're begging Iranian men like Arash that they stop going to stadium. Iranian women are not allowed to sing. Imagine a day, men in my country stop singing and say that I only sing when my sister, my daughter is allowed to sing. So what is the culture behind it? What is the Islamic culture behind it? They say that men cannot control themselves if a woman sings. Men get excited, aroused, correct? Let me try it. I want to see how many men get aroused here. I want to sing. To embarrass all those well-known men singers in my country that they didn't stop singing until their women are allowed to sing. Because I met with the reformist president in my country with the same argument, saying that little, we have to negotiate, we have to speak with dictators. So, and I was interviewing him, and I asked, why? Why women are not allowed to sing? And he was giving me the fatwa, if, a woman, according to Ayatollah Khomeini, saying men cannot control themselves. And I was like, have you ever heard of a woman singing? And he was like, yeah, I heard a woman citing Quran. I said, no, that's different. Singing. So, and what I did, I started to sing for him. Khoda, khoda, khodaya, agar be kam man jahan nagardani, you gain your right back. Practice your civil disobedience. Not negotiating with dictators. You have to be loud against dictators. You have to actually sanction them. You have to isolate them like the way that the West isolate Putin. You have to listen to women who practice their civil disobedience, not negotiate with dictators. Even your wife is supporting me.
Masih Alinejad, Arash Azizi, I would like to thank you both for raising your voices. What is loud and clear to everyone in this room is how deeply you care and your love for your country. And thank you for sharing that with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for making this a very hard panel to follow. Good luck. Thank you.